Hello everyone, welcome back to another Doctor Who related video. In today's Doctor Who related video, me and Luke continue our tier listing of the third Doctor era where we rank all the TV Pertwee stories from Spared from Space to Planet of Spiders. This is Season 9, so if you haven't checked out Season 8 or Season 7, then you can do. I'll leave a link in the description below to that so you can check it all out if you want to. So yes, if you've been enjoying the series so far, then please do like and subscribe because it really does help me and Luke out, and it's free, so why not? Why wouldn't you do it? So thank you very much and enjoy our tier list of Season 9 as we see the return of the Daleks on the small screen and say hello to the Sea Boys. Oh yes, it's Season 9.
Day of the Daleks into Season 9 now.
Oh, do you know what? I have a huge soft spot for this story. It's Doctor Who. What does Terminator before Terminator? It is such a good idea.
Plot.
It's a good story. For me, if you're going to watch Day of the Daleks, this might be sacrilege as a Pertwee purist, but for me, the only way you can really enjoy Day of the Daleks is the special edition. There's just for me, it's like the definitive way to watch Day of the Daleks. For me, it's just the ultimate way.
Me.
I just love it.
I do like I like to bounce back and forth between the two because I think there is something about the original as well, and just knowing that was how it went out, I think helps a bit. Because it's such a drastic departure in the special edition. And I mean, brilliantly done. It adds a lot. But yeah, there's something almost, because they are so different, I can watch them both and feel like I'm getting something different out of it. It's also probably the only story since the Space Museum that really involves time travel and stuff and time itself in a Doctor Who plot. For a show about time travel, it's not so much about time travel, is it? It's about traveling and visiting all these places, but the time travel aspect of it doesn't get brought up much, especially in Classic Who. So this is a rare example of that. I think done fairly well.
Yeah, because you got that whole sort of twist that Reginald Stiles didn't cause the disaster. It was the people trying to prevent Reginald Stiles from doing said disaster, really. So I think that was a great little twist within it. You know, I think maybe because I'm on like that B&M Dalek hype, I think that they're great within it. You know, I love the bit with Pertwee just enjoying a bit of wine and just whacking one of the guerrilla soldiers out because he's just badass.
Yeah,
it's just got some great
shooting
moments.
some poor Ogrons.
Yeah, the man who never would. definitely doesn't care about Ogrons, does the Third Doctor.
I think for me, funnily enough, similar to what you had with growing up in a location like the Demons, I sort of grew up, I suppose, like with there's a canal quite near me that I don't. Yeah, I grew up in a labour camp. But no, like there's a canal near me, and like every time they go down to that and walk along there with the tunnel and stuff, that sort of reminds me of nearby where I live, so that sort of has a home hitting vibe for me, I guess, which helps me enjoy this story even more.
So where are we gonna put it?
I'd go 9.
I'd agree with that. I love the trike sequence. The trike's a lot of fun. I love it. 9 out of 10. No complications.
No, there we go. No, yeah, we both agreed on that one for a change.
There we go. Curse of Peladon.
I think this is one I might like more than you.
Yeah, for me, this is my least favorite Pertwee story, but that's not saying much. Yeah, it's one of those ones. It's one of those ones where I watch and I'm like, I like what they're doing with like it makes the Ice Warriors more of an interesting monster by them being a good guy. But
it also adds a lot to the murder mystery side of it, doesn't it? Where you think you've got these suspects who are the villains of 2 Second Doctor stories, and they're the obvious suspects here. Even a Doctor thinks so, but no, they end up being quite noble, and I like that friendship. That it's not Azixia, that's Monster, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can't. Do you remember the name of the one in this?
Is it Izar? No, I'm thinking.
I swear it begins with an I. Islia.
Islia, that's it. Islia. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, I like that he and the Third Doctor have a bit of a friendship that grows there throughout, and that respect between them as well. Like, there's that tension at first, even from Zix's side, because Mars and Earth, obviously, he's a Time Lord, but as far as Zixia knows, he's this delegate from Earth, and so there's that tension there between them. Yeah, I love how that grows, and I like a lot of the characters as well, Hepesh and Prince Peladon, or King Peladon even. Yeah, it's all wonderful stuff. I love the setting, just the arrival on the cliffside, the wind blowing, the model shots.
It feels very 60s, doesn't it, that opening? Like the model stuff and the TARDIS arriving on a cliff. Very sort of Romans in a way, I guess.
Yeah, and I suppose it is sort of a throwback to that with the traveling in time and space again, isn't it? Even though it's not fully free yet, but he gets a bit of a test run, and the Time Lords have decided, oh, give him a free pass for once. Let him sort out a problem for us. I do find it funny, though, at the end, where the Doctor's like, Joe, do you really think it's a coincidence us arriving at this time? It is bloody every other time, isn't it?
The Time Lords wanted you have to have a love interest. But you've got to wait another series to actually get a proper love interest. Oh, she gets quite a
two.
few. Yeah. She gets one in Planet as well. Gosh.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any others throughout. But
No, I think that's from yeah.
What about Terror of the Autons, Doctor? Is it Mr. Campbell? You're a Dolly Scotsman. Is there something going on there? Do you think?
I don't know.
Between him and the supply closet.
Good grief.
Who knows? Yeah. Where do you want to put this one then?
I'm thinking 7.5.
Ooh, I'd have gone high as a 9. I really do love this one. Yeah, I like the medieval castle. I love that twist of medieval and
space,
futuristic, the science fiction. And I think that's what really grips me about Peladon as a whole. It's a wonderful planet. And so, yeah, I would go 9. So I suppose we got a compromise somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, we've got a compromise.
8 or 8.5, your choice.
I'll go there.
So
I don't want it to be lonely.
No, Colony's got a friend. This is interesting, actually, because so far the two stories that are not Earthbound are the two that we've ranked the lowest.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good little observation. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Day of the Daleks is a weird one, isn't it? Because that's kind of... I mean, it is still Earthbound, it's the future, but there's still a bit more time travel and change of location in there than we're used to. Like, Unit very much takes a back seat. Speaking of Unit taking a back seat...
Yeah, the Sea Devils, what a good segue.
Yeah. The Navy gets to take charge for a change.
With Captain Hart.
Is a great little substitute for the Brigadier there, someone quite different. And yeah, it's nice seeing the Third Doctor again coming up against that authority figure, but slowly they mellow to each other.
Much like the Brigadier, I guess. Mellow's a lot quicker to Captain Hart than the Brigadier.
Yeah. Well, the Brigadier, he was fine with Troughton, but they got along like a house on fire. It was only when Pertwee came along, some friction came along.
He killed those Silurians and never quite recovered.
Yeah.
What can I say about the Sea Devils? I think I've gushed over it so many times. I think it's a foregone
conclusion where it's going to end up.
It's a foregone conclusion already, but for me,
I couldn't dare suggest you put it lower.
No. For me, it's the best dynamic between the Doctor and the Master. You've got the great.
That's good.
You've got the great sort of sword fight, and even at the end when the Master gets away, you can see that the Doctor's relieved that he's got away. And then, you have the actual Sea Devils. Great, wonderful, love them. I love the fishy boys.
Yeah. It's like a simplified version of the Moral Dilemma and the Silurians, but that works because this is much more of a romp than that story was, I'd say. This is just a fun time to stick on and enjoy.
This has more scale to it, I feel. With the swooping shots of...
Ironically enough.
Yeah.
More scales.
Quite literally. You've got the great sort of swooping shots of like the boats and like the Sea Devils rising out of the water. It's just got so much iconic imagery. When I think of Doctor, I think of like the Sea Devils popping out of the sea, and I think that there's such ambition to this story.
I love how eager the Navy were to help as well.
Yeah,
we're just like, we're doing these exercises, why don't you come along with us and join us for shooting on there?
and it works so well. It's just brilliant. The way the Sea Devils are introduced, like the whole mystery of the boats. It's just that sort of classic monster reveal, but you're slowly seeing them bit by bit. And
I love that stuff on the rig as well, out at sea with the Third Doctor and Joe. Like, you get a little bit of Base Under Siege mixed in there. Yeah, I think the fact that it does change locations quite a few times throughout really adds, like you say, that scale, but also keeps it from getting boring. Like, it's a story that very much keeps you on your toes, even though it's a 6-parter. It's got a lot of momentum carrying it through.
Really does.
Put it where you want to put it.
Hey.
There we go.
And it's the best Pertwee look.
It's all you now for the next
It's all me. The Mutants. This is very much Doctor Who, not as a satire, but sort of comments on British colonialism with the Earth Empire leaving the Solonians to their own devices. So it's very much sort of riffing off that. And I think that this story has such a moral message behind it, which still resonates today, which is incredibly powerful. And I think that this story, what gets often overlooked, it might seem like it has a bit of padding, but I think there's a lot to enjoy within that. The Mutts and Kyle as an interesting one. You've got a great sort of psychedelic visionary in sort of like the cave where the Mutts are. And just the whole sort of revelation with the mutants themselves are wonderful. And it's just a great way. And the villain within this, I'm trying to think, what's his name? Then you have the character of the Marshal. What is a great sort of despicable character within there. You get the great supporting character of Cotton and Subs, who are just wonderful. There's a lot to love within this story, and I think that it gets unnecessary hate, and I'm going to give it an 8.5. I think that it's really solid stuff. And I think that if you go into the mindset that it's got so much rich contextually within there, then you'll have a fun time. And it's a really good story. And the location work is great of the sort of quarry filling in for the planet of Solos.
Yeah, I will say that for me, when it comes to having not watched this and The Time Monster, it's sort of down to I've whittled my way through a lot of the Pertwee era. I don't want to rush those final two. And so, it's sort of that case of making it last as long as possible. I don't want to have that feeling of I've got no more Pertwee to watch now, although I know that'll have to be the case eventually. And so it's just probably when season 9 Blu-ray comes out or something, I'll dive into these stories. But yeah, for now, again, it's all the space adventures at the bottom there.
Yeah, it does seem to be a continuing thread.
Is that going to change? Off you go with Time Monster.
The Time Monster, I think, is a lot of fun. I think that it's one of those ones where you just stick on and just watch. Like, the whole idea of Tomtit is very interesting. We go to
the
Atlanta.
Design is very interesting. I know that.
Yeah, definitely interesting. You've got the TARDIS detective. That's an interesting design. You get great moments between the Doctor and Joe within Bessie. Again, love Bessie. You get sort of hyperspeed Bessie in that great sort of shot of like Bessie just zooming off. And just Kronos. What a bizarre, interesting creation within this thing. And it's just so ridiculous with like the Master switching the Doctor speaking backwards. It's just so much fun within this story, but you get so many nuggets of great character moments with like the Third Doctor talking about his blackest day, speaking to the Hermit, which really reflects the Doctor's beliefs. But I'd say when it goes to Atlantis, the story does sort of lose that sort of funness to it, really. But I still think that it's an enjoyable one. Nowhere near one of the worst Doctor Who stories, but I'm going to have to say 8 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, it's weird that, isn't it? Doctor Who doesn't have a good track record with Atlantis.
Yeah, it doesn't really, but I'd happily watch the Time Monster over Underwater Menace.
I mean, it doesn't have awful telesnap reconstructions for one thing.
That is the good saving grace.
There we go. That is our season 9 tier list. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. So please do like and subscribe. All that good stuff, it really does help us out. And we'll see you next time as we say sort of the beginning of the end of the Pertwee era, as we say goodbye to Joe Grant, say hello to a few familiar faces in terms of the Doctors, and celebrate 10 years of that wonderful show that is Doctor Who. And of course there will be some giant maggots, of course, because hey, everybody likes a giant maggots. So we'll see you for season 10 with the Three Doctors, Carnival of Monsters, Frontier in Space, Planet of the Daleks and the Green Death. So take care and we'll see you then.